So before we work on the tech pack, normally the client will come to you and they will give you instructions of what they're looking for. They can send you mood boards or photos or notes, sketches, anything that they have in their mind, so we understand what they're looking for. And before I work on the tech pack, I like to create a sketch front and back, and I like to send to the client for their approval. So that's when they kind of guide me into one direction. And then once I have the design, they will let me know if they want to change colors, or they want to change the zipper, or they want to change whatever. And then because a tech pack will take about 2 hours to be made, so I don't want to spend as much. I don't want to waste their time. So in order to avoid that, then I just make a front and back sketch. So this is how we do it. Gonna go to before you start working, you have to go to your Upwork app and look for your clients. And this is one of my clients that I've been working on. And then if you click on, then it's gonna track your time. So if you spend 1 hour or 2 hours for the client, or 3 hours, or doesn't matter how many hours, then the app will keep track of your time. Even if it's just a simple sketch front and back, I still like to make like a nice presentation to them. So I'm just gonna make it, I like to lock the shape because I don't want this shape to move. This is just for presentation reasons. So this is my client, David. I'm gonna open his logos. Every time we work on any client, first thing we need is the logo. So that's his logo. Let me open it up. Okay. I think it's this one. No. Okay, so this is his logo. I'm just gonna copy it. So I'm gonna put it somewhere here. I'm gonna need it later. And now the way I start any flat, I'm gonna start by using shapes. And then you will see why I'm using shapes later. So I'm going to work on a half, I'm going to work on a long sleeve top with a high neck and a quarter zipper. And the zipper, it's in a center front neck. So I'm gonna start working with only half of the blouse. So this, I'm gonna make the neckline a little lower. This is for the shoulders. And this is the armhole. We don't need to add, we need to have less points as possible, because the more points you have in your design, the difficult will make it to make changes or add any type of shapes inside. So I like to keep as less points as possible. So this is the armhole, and this is the neckline. And then let's make it like a straight top. Actually, we can make it a little fitted. So I'm gonna make the sleeve with another shape. every design we make, we need to use shapes, or you can use the pen tool, but the pen tool, make sure you close the shape. If you want this to be some type of a muscle shirt, I can make it similar to a muscle shirt. I will be adding a few points here, a few points here. I'm gonna make it like a muscle shirt. I mean, you can make it simple, but I just want to show you how to make it something like this. You can see. Okay, so this is our shape, and now we go to the anchor point tool, and then we just shape it nicely. So the anchor point, it's shaping your garment nicely. So I'm just making it like a fitted top with shows their muscles, but you can just make a simple one with a normal sleeve, and I'll show that later. And it looks like it's a little too wide, so I'm gonna go closer. So let's say we're adding, I can do like a two-tone type of shirt with mesh on the side, but let's do, okay, so I'm gonna do the neckline now. So I'm gonna add a high neck, and then again we're working with shapes. Maybe add it a little higher. And make sure all the points blend. Like you don't want this point to be, you just want to be point on point. If you have to go closer with your navigator, you have to be point on point, and the same here, and the same everywhere, including the armholes. Points needs to be point on point. You see, if you click on this too, point on point, and then the lines, they need to be kind of match. You know, it's almost, it's very important for lines to match and the points to be on top of each other. So this is the high neck, and it looks like it's a little too, I'm gonna make it wider. It's too small. So I'm gonna go again point on point, and then there you go. So this is our shirt, and I think I want to make it a little like a round bottom. You know, it's just more creative. It's not boring, you know. So it just I do a little round bottom, and then I can make the back a little longer too. I've seen a lot of men's shirts they have a longer back. So that's okay. So that's the bottom. It's a little rounded, and I want to add a side mesh. So in order to add the side mesh, I'm gonna make another shape because we only work with shapes. The reason for that is because I can add in this shape mesh, I can add any type of color, any print, and then I can make like a two-tone looking shirt. So this is a side panel in the men's shirt, and I'm just gonna make sure all the points are point on point here and point on point here. And the line here, it's straight, but it's not matching this line. So we have to make sure all lines are matching. So we're gonna use the anchor point a lot. And then the same, we're gonna do the same in the armhole. We need to make sure that the armhole match. So if you don't want this, then if you don't want this shape, you just click on it, and that's it. And then I'm gonna make the shape of the side seam a little rounded. Okay. So this is a side panel in a mesh. And then to add the mesh inside, what I do, I just go on Google and I type in white mesh, or let's do black mesh fabric. And then the first thing that pop up, and it's I like to choose some sort of soft mesh. So this looks a little softer. I don't like this hard mesh, like very sporty. I want to use, most of the time, if we use soft materials, it looks more high-end, and clients will like that. So I'm gonna use a soft mesh similar to this one. Maybe this one. That's it. So let's do another folder for the zip up. I'm gonna call it zip up shirt. So I'm gonna save the mesh here. Maybe try different. I'll try this one too. Let's see which one works better. Maybe this one. Okay. So now I'm gonna go and open my file. I'm gonna open my mesh. Turn zip up shirt. Let's open one of these two. Let's see. Okay, so let's open this mesh. I'm gonna scale it down. To scale down, you go to Object, Transform, and Scale. We can do 50% or 40% or whatever. You can stretch it too, but it's best if you just click on Scale. So now that you scale down the shape, you go to Copy, and then we want to put it inside. And in order to put inside, you have to click on the shape. You go to this little draw inside, you click on it, and now you see it selected the shape. And now we go to Edit and Paste in Place. And then we added the mesh. So now the mesh is a little too large, so I'm gonna stretch it out, or you can use the scale button. And it seems like it's a little too heavy. I'm gonna try the other mesh. Let me see. Maybe this one works. So I'm going to copy. Now that I have this mesh here, I just click on it, I delete it, and then I go back to paste in place. and then we need to adjust the mesh. So that's how we have the mesh panel. And now we want to add stitching. And sometimes a lot of men's shirts, they have some type of yoke. And then I'm going to create it here. And then they have like a shoulder panel, so I'm gonna add the shoulder panel just because it looks a little better. And we can make the shoulder panel in mesh too. So I just copy what I did just to match the edge. I copy the front and then I added 2 points here. So now I'm going to remove the points here. And here too. And then if you have this weird shape, you just click back to the anchor point. And then you click on this one and then click on this one. And there you go, that's the shoulder. That's the shoulder panel. So we can add, we can make mesh on the side seam and then we can make a mesh in the shoulder panel. So I'm copying the mesh from the side seam. I'm going to the shoulder panel. You click on it, you go to draw inside, edit, paste in place. So now you have it, but it doesn't show here, but you have to drag it. You have to drag the mesh up. And then you can scale it up or down. Okay, so that looks better. And then like this one looks a little too large, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna scale it down. Yeah. And then I'm gonna copy and add another one because it looks more fine. So we want to have a fine mesh. And then now we need to add stitching because some of these shirts, they have stitching in the shoulder panel. So what I do, I just click on I do the same line here. It's just a regular line. And I go down. I'm gonna make it in block. That's the stroke color. Let's make it block. There we go, a little closer, and then I like to make the stroke 0.5. And then I click on the dash line, and I like to keep 2 and 2 points here. And that's how you create the stitching effect. And you always have to have, you have to open your, I always keep these little windows in here. It's easier when you design. So I like to have, if you click to Windows, then you have your align. This is your align here, which you needed. I have the brushes. You're gonna need the brushes if you add zippers and if you add like a flat lock stitch. And then I have my navigator, which helps me navigate the page. I have the stroke, which is this one. And the stroke will, you will need it for stitching. You'll need to change the size of the stroke. And then I have the color guide. So now, okay, this one is almost ready, so we're gonna have to add another stitch here. So I make another line and I try to match the line with the neckline. So now that we have the stitch, we're gonna go down a little bit and maybe make sure this is kind of symmetric. So that's the neck stitch. And then some they have a stitch here. Sometimes they have a single needle stitch, or they may have a flat lock stitch. For flat lock stitch and for zipper, we can add a zipper here. We can go to Vectizzy. I'm gonna choose the free version. know I see only zippers. I just need a stitch. Let's see. I'm just gonna click stitch. So we have stitches here, and then these two we can use. So you can just download you can download them or you can create them yourself. I prefer to download, it's faster. And then I'm gonna download this one too. So now we go to zip up shirt. I'm going to add my stitches here, and you only have to do this once you have the stitching into place in the brush, then you're gonna keep it in the brush forever. Okay, let's see. So you see this is a little brush here, which you can take it from here, you copy it, and then you go here, and then what I do, I put it in my brushes. So I'm just gonna put it into the brushes here, and I'm gonna click pattern brush, and let's see if it works. Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna just do a line. So that's your flat lock stitch. So what I want to do, I'm gonna add a flat lock stitch here on the side panel. I think it looks nicer. And just make sure all the points, you see this point is a little out of the shape, so I'm just gonna make sure all the points are inside our shape. And then once I have this line, I just click on the flat hook stitch, and then we have the stitch. There you go. So I think I want to add the same stitch I'm going to add in the sleeve. This is the sleeve hem, and I'm gonna make it a little closer because normally the hem in a sleeve it's like 1 inch. Again, we have to make sure all these points are inside our shape. And then we click, and that's our flat lock stitch. And then we can do the same stitching, we can do it on the bottom. To do it on the bottom, we do the same, and you don't have to use the stitch, there's plenty of them here, whatever you feel like or whatever you download of Vectizzy works, as long as it shows the stitching effect. And when it comes to stitching, clients don't know, so they won't tell you what type of stitch, so you just have to play with it and be creative, and then just see which one looks better. So that's the bottom stitch. So now that we have entire half, what we're gonna do, we're gonna group it. You select the shape, entire shape, you go to objects, and then you go to group. So once you group it, then you can just pull the entire shape. You can't pull it apart. So what I do, I just copy it and then paste it. So now we have two shapes, and then the second shape we're going to transform, and then we're going to reflect, and then we're going to do vertical, and then now we have an entire shirt. But we don't want to have the okay, so to align them, sometimes it can be, you can put it like this, but you want to make sure they are aligned, so you select both of them, and then I go to align, and then I go here to vertical align, and they are all together, so the points are matching. We want to make sure all points here match, and then the points here match. So now that we align them, we're going to ungroup, go to object, ungroup, and we're gonna do the same to the other side, object and ungroup. So we want to have this panel here with this panel. We don't want to have this line in the center front line because it doesn't exist there. It's just a plane. So we're just gonna click on both shapes and then we go to Pathfinder and we are going to unite. So now that we united, we have one shape and there's no center front seam because we don't need any seams in the front. So we're gonna do the same thing with the neck. Click on both shapes, then we go to Pathfinder and then unite. So that's our neck. Now we have to do the back neck. So I'm just gonna take this shape, copy it, paste it. I'm gonna put it in the same. We want to make sure that the dots are matching. So now we take the front the center dots and then we put it up because the back it's a little normally the back it's higher than the front. So now that we have this one, we can color. So we can do any color we want now. And sometimes before I send it to the client, I like to do a little gray color or like a charcoal color or anything. So now that we have the back, we click on arrange and then we send it to back. So I'm gonna color entire shirt. To color the entire shirt, all you have to do is just click on the shapes. And that's the reason we work with shapes, because we can change color anytime we want. So you click on the eyedropper, you click on the color, and voila, you color your entire shirt. But for some reason it doesn't show the side panel here. So you just click on the shape, on the front shape, you go to arrange and then send to back. So now this is your color shirt. So you send it to the client and the client may say, you know what, I don't like gray, I want to have any other color, a blue, let's say a navy blue. So to just change the color, you just click on all shapes and you change the color in seconds. So let's do a navy blue, since my client wants a navy blue, and that's the navy blue shirt. Now what we need to do is to add a front, because this is a long sleeve with a quarter zip, with a quarter zipper in the front. So I'm going to add a shorter, no, something like this. I'm going to add a shape and I want to add a zipper here. So to get a zipper, I go to Vector Z and I'm gonna search for zippers. I'm gonna click on the free license and then we can use any of the zippers here. I like to use even this. Actually, I'm gonna use this one. So I'm gonna copy my zippers. Okay, so what I do, I want to create a brush. In order to create a brush, I click on this tool. And then I want to change, let me change the color. So I want to change the color on the, so this is my zipper, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna make it a little, just to see the difference between the zipper and the shirt. So I'm gonna make it a little less, like a different color, closer. And then I'm gonna copy this too. Now I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna make it the same color. And I want to make it smaller. You make it a lot smaller. And now that we have these two here, we can group them. You just take them from here, put it in the brush, and then pattern brush. Okay, okay. So now we can do our zipper. Let's see how it looks. So I'm going to just cross a line in the center front. Click on the zipper. Oh no, okay, never mind. Let's do it differently. That's fine. I think we have to rotate it 90%. 90, yeah. Let's try again once I rotate. Let's see. Okay, so we had to do what I did. I had to rotate 90% and then I had to drag it back to the brush, pattern brush. Okay, okay. And then once I have it, this is the zipper. And this can be a little lower. Now we're gonna need the zipper pull, and I'm going to use this one. The reason I'm going to use this one is because I can add their logo. So anytime you have the opportunity to add your client's logo on the zipper would be great. So this is the zipper. I'm gonna make it a little, and you don't have to use the zipper. I mean, I don't know if I like this one very much, but I'm just gonna use it now. Like, there's plenty other free zippers that you find here, so you can use any of them. Normally I use this one. It looks more, I don't know, it looks better. Okay, but let's go with this zipper. So once I have this zipper here, so this is the shirt. It's a two-tone shirt with a mesh panel and a shoulder panel, and we have a quarter zipper here. And now I want to use his I'm gonna use his logo, and I'm just gonna play with it. Like, you can do, they like, if you, okay, I'm gonna do this in white, and I'm just gonna take it and put on the zipper. So I'm gonna make like a chest logo here, and then I want to add the same logo. I want to add it on the zipper, so I'm gonna make it very small and put it right here. Just make sure it's the same angle, and then if you want to group it, you can group it. So these are the details that matters to all clients. All these little things, they want to have them. So now I'm gonna group my zipper. So that's it. And they can make it any other color. They can just be like a tone on tone. So now I can just take the other logo and maybe put it on the sleeve. I can just turn it around. You can play with the logo placement if you wanna. You feel free to go on Google and find logo placement ideas. And I'm just gonna add this logo on the sleeve right here. And that's like a workout, and I think this is a little too large, so I'm gonna make it a little smaller. Or sometimes you can put the logo, this one, down here or on the panel, but because we have the mesh panel, then I won't keep anything on the mesh. So this is our front. I'm gonna make it a little larger. To make it larger, just select the entire shape, group it, and then make it larger. You can adjust the size you want. And now what I want to do is add the back. So this is the front. And I'm going to create a back. And the back, all I have to do is just remove all this. I'm going to remove the zipper. I'm going to remove the front panel, and I'm going to do this a little higher, and the stitching too. And then maybe I'm gonna make the back a little longer. So you can make it a longer by going just like, I think it's a little too, okay. So that's the back, that's my new backhand. And the stitching too needs to go a little lower. And then the panel needs to go a little lower, and then make sure the panel here matches and it hits, you know, the okay. So we want to make sure that this dot, it's exactly, hold on, I gotta click only on this one. Oh, what's happening? Why is not doing it? Hold on. I don't know why it's not picking it up for some reason. So all I want to do is go with this one a little lower, and I want to match. Okay, I don't know why it's doing this, but let me just, I'm gonna delete the mesh because for some reason the mesh didn't allow me to do. So I'm going to match the bottom with the same line. Oh, what's wrong with this? So I'm matching the bottom here. So this is my side. And now I want to add the mesh back again here. Copy, click on the side panel. Let me delete, I'm going to delete the entire, okay, so I'm just going to add the mesh again. So I'm going to click on this, draw inside, edit, paste in place. So I only have one mesh, but I'm going to copy it and paste again. So now I have two of this mesh here. Maybe make it a little larger. So now what I have to do, I can just delete this side here and then copy this other side, paste it, and then go to transform, reflect, and voila, that's the back mesh. And then I want to show the stitch because the stitch was not here. And now I'm going to delete this one, I'm going to delete this one, or maybe we can add this on the back here, maybe a little smaller logo again, like a repeating logo, just like that. And then you see these points here, they don't add up, so we want to make sure the points are adding to the line. And then the line, the stitch too. So now we have a front and back. I'm going to write back, and it's ready to send to the client. And then to make it look nice, what I do, I just copy their logo once again, which I have it somewhere here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna take his logo from here. I'm going to put it here, and maybe make this a little larger. And I'm going to write what this is. So this is a men's long sleeve shirt with quarter zip. And I'm gonna use, I normally use this one. I can make it a little, Okay, so this one. And I gotta select all of them. You go to align and you align them in the same place. So that's like a nice presentation for them to see the new design they wanted, the front look and the back look. And then they might say they like it, they might want to make changes, like slight changes, but that's how you design an activewear. So I'm going to save it like men's zip up shirt. I'm saving in Illustrator and then I'm saving in PDF. So if you go to the zip up shirt and you open the PDF, so they can see how it looks, and then they can zoom in if you want to. If you just want to send it in a white, that's fine. White, it's the best because white can show all the stitching. You can see everything through it. But I like to add a little color. So that's it.